Good evening and welcome to Not Another Rangers podcast. We're having difficulties here. StreamYard keeps cutting off, so they Ricky. But welcome to everybody who's watching just now. We've just went live and we didn't even have any intro. So it's just me, it's me on tonight. Just Ricky, just the two of us. Gary's out at a award ceremony and Cameron's out somebody else, I think his partner. So just me and Ricky tonight. So how you doing, Ricky?
Good, mate. You've got us on some weird situation on YouTube. We're in some weird angle. I'm watching it now, mate. Big close-ups tonight, but apart from that, we're great, mate. Very good. So you're just back from New York. How was New York? Tell the viewers about your amazing trip to New York before we start speaking about Rangers.
That was good, Ricky. It was good. I've got this laptop. It's not my laptop. It's my wife's laptop, and I've not got a clue how to work it. I'm showing my age, definitely, so I'm not got a clue how to work it. My laptop works, but there's no sound, so it's probably better for everybody. But this laptop, I've not got a clue. But New York was great, Ricky. We ran far too quickly. The only downfall was got taking an hour and a half at my day to go and watch Rangers against Roma. The pub was great. The company was great, but the game was awful. But apart from that, New York was really good. And to Nicholas Stubbin, yes, I didn't meet Donald, but I went to Trump Towers and got a few pictures, so it was good to see.
Donald wanted to meet Kerr. He was speaking about the podcast, how much he loves Narp, and he's going to come on if we win the league.
That will never end, Nicky. That will never. So
God
anyway, thank you
America.
everybody for joining us. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We'll start, Ricky. Obviously, there's no any game at weekend. There's no any game coming up, even midweek. So we'll talk about Danny Rule since he's come through the door. But first of all, we'll start tonight with the SFA, Willie Collum. Now, I'm only just in from my work and I've watched a wee bit of the clip. I was reading about it through a week, but I watched a wee bit of the clip there, and to me, it's total nonsense. It's just bollocks, and I can get clipped all they want, but if that was up the other end of the football park, no matter what Rangers player, he gets a straight red for me. And I'm not being, I might be biased, but he gets a straight red. That's just nonsense. They're stretching the laws of the game that much so he doesn't get sent off.
Yeah, the St Mirren one as well, mate. It wasn't just the Rangers one. Yeah, I mean,
I only watched Rangers one because I'm just at my watch. I didn't see that one either, but I only watched it.
It was amazing, mate. The credibility of Willie Collum, the referees in Scotland, is in the absolute bin, mate. If you watch it, it's always interesting because you watch these. I mean, everyone wants to listen to people's opinions to like go with their opinion to be right, because you've got your opinion and you're like, how's that not a red card? That's absolutely crazy. And then it's interesting to see what the English refs think about it on Sky Sports and stuff like that. And as soon as they watched the incident, right away they were like, how can he not give a red card there? The goalkeeper's got the ball in his hands. That's dangerous. He's dangerous play. He's kicked the goalkeeper in the face. It's not even it doesn't matter how much force you use. Jack Butland had the ball in his hands for a good 3 seconds. Trusty just had an absolute moment of madness, kicked Jack Butland in the face. It was a clear red card, Scott, and that's bad enough. It's bad enough that the referee you can sort of understand because he's in the heat of the battle, right? What a normal referee, I would say that, Kerr, right? But isn't it interesting that every time Nick Walsh referees a Rangers Celtic game, we have 3 or 4 days, 5 days afterwards talking about the decisions, and it's so frustrating. It's always these crazy decisions and they always go in favour of one team, mate. So for me, it was a clear red card. I mean, it's quite boring speaking about refs 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, but Willie Collum chooses to do the show care, and for his own credibility, I mean, to go on a show like that, it didn't even make sense what he said. Nothing what he said. He was going through the actual, he was going through it line by line, picking out words to suit it being a yellow card and ignoring the words that he should have been looking at for it to be a red card. It was absolutely insane. So anyway, it is what it is, mate. I mean, I hope Rangers after they watch it contact behind the scenes again. We don't have much confidence in Patrick Stewart picking him up, mate, but they should be getting tore right in right into saying, guys, you've just had your head of referees on TV just talking absolute nonsense, being nonsensical. His credibility is in the absolute bin, and this is month to month, Kerr, with these bad decisions, and it's something has to be done about it. For me, my personal opinion, Willie Collum is he's done as head of referees. Nothing has got better. Everything has got worse since he's came in. What's your opinion about since he's came in? Now we're into maybe the third season. This is his third season, and for me, the rest have got worse.
Listen, Willie Collum's what Willie Collum is. He was a poor ref. He can't organise the referees in general. He's been given that job because of who he is, not because of what he can do. He's been given that job because he knows it's going to continue the way it's been going. Listen, people can sit here and call me biased, call me this, call me that. We all know what happens in Scottish football. We all know what's happened for the last 10, 15 years. And it's happened because the other side have moaned about it that much and made documentaries with ex-players and blah, blah, blah. People believe what they were saying. So the referees sometimes can be scared to make decisions against them. Blah, blah, blah. But, Ricky, I'm just wanting consistency. I don't want referees to come out and give us favours unless we deserve them. And we don't all the time. You just want to be fair. And I don't understand when he says he can also see the other side of the argument where it is a red card. Is either a red card or a yellow card. There's no in between.
That's why he's on TV.
But and he said, but he hit some of the side of the foot. There's not enough force. If I remember right, Al McGregor, did he not get sent off? Or was it pulled back with TV when he missed? I think it was up at Aberdeen. He kicked, he placed that kick and just missed Aberdeen. I think it may have been Lewis Ferguson, 100% sure. But they called it back and he got a red card. Now, trustees actually went in late. We side his foot, granted. Side of your foot, top of your foot, bottom of your foot. They were talking about no studs was involved. I don't understand it. It's like they were making excuses for it not to be a red. Whereas other decisions you see, they're desperate to send the person off for goals. They're desperate to not be a goal. And I just feel if you're going to be fair, be across the board, but don't constantly be that bad when everybody can see it. You favour the one team, everybody else. And the problem in Scotland is, Ricky, we called out a few years ago, nobody backed it. But now we're calling it out again, and we have to keep on at it. We have to go for them. Because see, if we don't and we let it lie, it'll happen again, and again. There's no point in bringing out statements. There's no point in asking for meetings. You have to go for the jugular. You can't keep accepting it and saying, well, we might get a turn the next time. Because if it happens to somebody, see if it happened to them, they'll be constantly talking about it just now as in a way they're going to get something done. We're just talking about it because we don't like the decision. But you have to talk about it, have to monitor it that much. So something does happen. Like they've talked about that ball out the park at Easter Road is out of play. I think that referee did he not get naughty? Did he don't referee a game? One of the officials, something happened to him. He was involved in a Celtic game, and I think the referee get demoted or something like that. I could be wrong. Somebody can prove me wrong. But why is it when it happens to them, it blows up and something happens? But when it happens to us, we make a wee statement, and then it gets put to bed, and it's like, it's fine, it's only Rangers. I mean, I'm not seeing to win the game, but these decisions can cost managers a job down the line. And it's happened, this is not the first time, it's happened time and time again against them. When's it going to actually change? Because Scottish football's a shithole as it is. But you're getting decisions constantly against you when you're playing against a certain team. And they don't care, they just laugh it off. And I've seen people say, it wasn't a red card anyway, it was a yellow. But that's coming from certain fans. Or if it was up the other end, I'd have said it was a red card because the goalkeeper had the ball in his hands. And if it was up the other end, it would have been a red card, like I said earlier. I just feel it's really, really, it's so biased, it's unreal, Ricky. There's no even behind it.
Yeah, it's not just that one, Kerr. For me, what annoys me when I watch the actual match, listen, Celtic were the better team in the first half and they bullied us, right? But what annoys me when you're watching the match with the referees as well is like how many fouls Celtic players get away with, and Walsh just doesn't pull out the yellow card. And you know when you get to the end of the match that's going to affect the actual match. I mean, the one with Ralston where he does exactly the same thing he gets booked for with Gassama, and wipes him out, and he knows he has to give him a yellow card, so he just waves play on. It's like, are you joking me? So not only does he not give a foul, and it's so blatant, it's unbelievable. And it's little decisions like that that have a massive effect on the. If we even the penalty, like you could say, man. I mean, there's people saying that the rule's not the same for the yellow card and stuff like that. But like you said, these all mount up throughout the match. We played much better in the second half. We got back into the game. And if it's 1-1 with 10 men each, okay, we'd still be a little bit more tired because we'd played the majority of the game with 10 men. But it gives us a much better chance going into extra time if it's levelled up. So the performances are, like you said, mate, we just want a level playing field. And if people think that it's a level playing field just now, they live in absolute cuckoo land. And they've actually managed to control the narrative that Rangers get most of the big decisions, and it's just incredible, mate, that people still go on about it all the time. Penalty to Rangers, all this nonsense. Now, it's since Willie Collum came in, we've laughed about it and said it's always apology to Rangers, and it is, mate, and it's got to change. The refs have to get better because I didn't think it could get any worse when Willie Collum came in. I actually thought to myself, even though I was against him getting the job, he can't do any worse, Kerr, but he's actually made it worse. The refs are worse. And it's not just us. Like, he's doing this apology show, and some of the decisions are absolutely unbelievably crazy that he's having to go on there and apologise against all the teams. So it shows you just how bad the refs are, mate.
Refs are poor, Ricky, but it doesn't that doesn't excuse them for blatant cheating. In my eyes, and I don't care what anybody says, it's blatant cheating. I mean, somebody's mentioned Ameda gets away with it constantly. And if I was a Celtic fan, I'd be happy with that because I would say, it doesn't matter what we do, we get away with it anyway. And I'll be happy. But on the other side of the coin, you're not happy if it's against you. And you said you just want a fair playing field, but that's never going to happen. Not anytime soon anyway. I'll guarantee that, not anytime soon. But enough about referees, because they're absolutely shocking. And
I feel dirty now, mate.
Can we have a
pause? Can we have a pause and go for a shower, mate? I hate speaking about refs. I despise them.
No, I understand that. It's brutal. It's brutal. And anyway, I'll go back to Rangers. Obviously, like I say, I watched the Roma game when I was away, but I missed the Dundee game because I was travelling back. So you want to talk about? I saw the highlights of the Dundee game. I kind of watched it back, but I was shattered and stuff. And the bonus way against Roma was poor. Right? I thought Roma were good, but to me, Roma could have upped at any time. I thought we were really, really poor. We gave the ball away too cheaply. We lacked any discipline. We just lacked any cutting edge, to be fair. But I thought against Dundee, I thought we were going to struggle, but I thought we looked quite comfortable in what I've seen. I've seen
it was
highlights, and I've seen I've tried to catch a wee bit of it, but I thought we were quite comfortable.
Yeah, no, it was good, Kerr, to be honest with you. The first half was the best we've played this season, and the only thing, we'll have a big positive in Mikey Moore because he's really started to show that potential that we heard about from the Tottenham fans. Danny Rowe has been sensational with him. He's got him playing in more of a free role, which a player like that, you need to give him the freedom. Like, I mean, the way that Martin was using him, just sticking him on the touchline when he's not got the pace and telling him to go up and down was madness. But Rolls gave him that freedom in the team because he can see that he's a game changer. And if you get him in the right positions, for me, Moore's only going to go from strength to strength, mate. So the first half was very positive. We actually deserved to go in at half-time 3-0. I mean, you can speak about, I don't want to speak about refs again, but the offside goal you've probably seen was you had one in the same game, of Man City and Liverpool, where it did go through Diamandi's legs. So it's one of the ones that you might just sort of have to bite the bullet and accept, to be honest. But very positive first half, Kerr. Rangers were very good. Half-time came out. I mean, he made these mad substitutions at half-time, 3 subs at half-time. Felwell was on the walkie-talkie saying, get my players on at half-time. And the second half was pretty poor for the first 30 minutes. Dundee, but to be fair though, Kerr, you've got a lot of experience of watching Rangers. It's always a tough game at Dens Park, and that first half was the most comfortable I have ever seen a Rangers team at Dens Park, because normally Dundee are right after you. The game's like a washing machine for 20 minutes. And Dundee had that for like the first 3-4 minutes, and then Rangers just took totally control. Crisp passes into the strikers, crisp movement, really what we've been asking for. So all in all, mate, good 3-0 victory away from home. Again, I'm not getting carried away. We'll speak about it with title races and stuff like that. For me, with Rangers, we saw that week against Roma and Celtic. So for Rangers, it's just about game by game until we get to the January window. For me, mate, just forget about everything else. Forget about Hearts. Forget about Celtic. Just concentrate on Rangers. Concentrate on Rowe, getting to know his players more and more, because he is a manager that will improve players' care. You can see that a mile away. So if we give him the time, let him work with these players, see what he needs going into January, then I think we're in really good hands with Danny Rowe, mate. I really like Danny Rowe. We'll speak about that as well. But it was a great 3-0 victory, good 3-0, and just game by game, just keep chipping away, and then let's see where we are coming out of the January window.
I think when you've got that lead, Ricky, at half time and the manager has made subs, I think it's very hard to go back out and play the same way. I know a lot of teams do it, but especially when your performances are up and down inconsistent like we have been, I think getting that lead, just sitting back and being disciplined and not letting any goals in, I think that was the job done for us. And to be honest with you, we struggled against Dundee at Ibrox when they came, but we didn't struggle at Dens Park. So you can see the difference that way, but it's when you have to up your game at times. We struggle with that. But no, in the league-wise, I'm quite happy. We're taking very, very small steps going forward. Europe, we're shocking, to be fair. And this is the worst I've seen in Europe for a long time. And every time we have to win a game, we seem to either draw or chuck it away. So going back to Danny Rowe, since he won, Ricky, Danny Rowe's actually, he came in, I didn't know a lot about him, apart from obviously his time at Sheffield Wednesday, which wasn't long, but I know he was a coach at other places, but I think he's come in and actually done relatively well with what he's got to work with, because we know some of these players can improve. We know some of these players won't improve, and we also know some of these players will probably get worse. I'm not going to name any names, but we know some of them will. So I think he's having to work with what he's got, as we know, and I think that maybe sometimes that's why he makes so many subs. Because I think he sees people maybe starting the game well, and he's thinking, I need to keep the energy up, and he maybe brings people off at half time and bits on other people maybe barring at half time and stuff, just to give them more energy, because he likes players seem to be giving them energy, giving them going in the part, whereas others don't. I mean, there's been a lot of players, Ricky, since we've signed through the door. I mean, we started at the back. Obviously, Butland's been okay this season, but with Jack, we all know Jack still get that mistake in him every so often. Yep. He can make that mistake, but he's been playing really well. Otherwise, with some of his saves, he's actually saved us a few points at times. But like I say, in games where you feel he's playing well, he makes a mistake. You look at the Kelly game, and other times you kind of go, "What's he doing?" But relatively compared to last season, he's been played really well. It's a defence that worries me, Ricky. I think 4-5-3, wherever you want to go with defence. I think the problem is we've got too many lone players there, and none of the lone players to me look that great. Cornelius is probably the best out of the bunch, but he's okay. Jiga's awful. I thought he was okay at the start, but he seems to be getting worse, and I don't think we should see him back anytime soon if his loan spells to the January at the end of the season whenever it gets cancelled. Aarons is the same, and Davernier's probably your best defender at this moment in time. John Souttar blows hot and cold. John Souttar's not a bad defender, especially when he's just having to defend and concentrate on nothing else. It's other parts of his game which maybe lets him down, but that's always been that way with John, because he's just a big natural defender. But the problem is, when these lone players go, we've not got a great defence here, Ricky, and I think that has to be addressed. When the left back's on loan, the right back as Aarons, 2 centre backs. I mean, it's not looking good. I know January window to me, Ricky, is always difficult to buy in, because it's either players you're getting that other teams don't want, or you might be spending a bit over the odds for some guys. And if you go back to England, you're spending over the odds, no matter who you buy for England. Listen, there's some good players down there, but there's also a lot of very average players that you're paying well over the odds for, which you shouldn't be touching. But I don't trust Thelwell. I know Graham Souness kind of said similar today. So to me, the defence is a worry going into the January window and beyond.
Yeah, no, it is. I couldn't agree more. The defence and the strike force are equally for me. If you said to us, how many players do you want to sign in January? I think for me, I like being. I know this might sound a bit drastic, but I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be against a whole new defence, to be honest with you, Karen. Even Butland for me is a fantastic goalkeeper on his day. But I mean, you saw that in the cup final, that one from McGregor for me, right in the middle of his goal. It's like, like, okay, he's not been protected that much this season. But to be fair to Rowe, he does have 2 clean sheets away from home, and he's only conceded 1 goal in his three league matches so far, which is good going, Kerr. But it'll be interesting again just to see what Rowe can do if he can continue that. We've got some good, decent games on paper coming up, and then we've got your tough games away to Kilmarnock, away at Tynecastle. So it'll be interesting to see if Rowe, he did it away Easter Road. That was a good clean sheet there. So can he get something out of this defence to get to January? I know a lot of people are counting on Sterling coming back, mate, but for me with Sterling, he's on paper as an athlete, he's perfect for our defence, even at right back, to give Tav a rest, because Tav at his age should not be playing every 3 days, even though he can, and he's a ridiculous athlete. He should not be playing every 3 days. So Sterling coming back in just to give a bit more. And then you've got Nsiala as well. I think Nsiala maybe deserves a chance as well, like you said, rather than Jigga. The only thing that annoys me with this group of players, Kerr, is some players seem to be getting all the chances and all the minutes, like Jigga. Like against Dundee, you're 3-0 up, and Cornelius has his. Cornelius doesn't like doing 90 minutes. He's like, after 80 minutes, he's like, oh, I need to come off. And for me, that's the perfect time to bring on a Fernandez or an Nsiala or, I don't know why we're bringing on Jigga. Well, I know he's on the bench and they weren't in the squad, but it's like, why are they not in the squad so that if you do get a couple of goals up, how's Fernandez meant to prove himself if he's not even in squads and he's fit and he's on the bench? But then we're bringing on Jigga as an example, and he's all over the place even when he's on the pitch for 10 minutes. It's the same as Asgard. How's Asgard deserving to get all these minutes? What he did in the cup final, and then the 2 games after, he gets on at half time and he gets on in the European game, and he's mints in both of them, by the way. For me, it's not fair that some players are getting a lot more opportunities than others, mate. I think Rowe has to be fair and give everyone in the squad a chance. But the defence, speaking about the defence, we need improvements, mate. Where the improvements are, because you need a better left back, or centre backs. You need to have, if you'd give him another contract, for me, it's dodgy. So for me, we need to get that a lot of more strength in that defence.
To be honest with Tav, I think he's been at Rangers too long. That's just my opinion. But just as well he is here at times, because nobody else looks great at the back. And that's credit to Tav, do you know what I mean?
That's it.
It's credit to Tav.
He comes, sorry to interrupt, but you take him out, just to interrupt you just 1 sec, sorry, but when you take him out of the team, when you take Tav out of the team, especially now, you notice it by an absolute mile. You have to bring him back in the team right away after like 2 games, because the defence is completely lost without him. And he's not the best defender in the world. He's going to concede.
That's poor recruitment then, Rick, isn't it?
It is, mate.
But that's poor recruitment then.
Awful.
It's no Tav's fault. That's the recruitment has been awful.
You could have had Mulligan for free, mate. You could have had Mulligan. You could have had Mulligan for free, who's tearing it up at Hibs, who can play in midfield and at right back. And he's equally good in both positions that we could do. And we've got a Max Aarons who just looks like he's on holiday when he comes on the park. He doesn't have anything about him. It's really frustrating.
He's not got a lot about him, has he? For a guy who's supposed to be worth a lot of money, he's played at a high level. He's not got a lot about him, Aarons, I have to say. He just looks like he's going through emotions here until his own spell's over. He doesn't look interested to me. It's like I'm here until this date and then my way back to Bournemouth, wherever, and that's not great. Some loan players you get that, Ricky. We've been fortunate with loan players in the past. Seaman, Cherny, and him too, who've came and put in a shift, and you think these guys are up for it. These guys are willing to work hard, even though they're not our players. But then you get guys coming into the building who are like, I'm only here for 6 to 12 months or whatever. I could get called back, I could make no, but it's not my club. I'm getting back to a cushion number down in England. So if I don't get a game, I don't get a game. If I get a game, I'll get a game, or it's written into my loan deal, I'll play anyway. So it doesn't matter how bad or how good I'm playing, I'll still get a game anyway. So the recruitment has been very poor, I have to say, especially this summer. We all slagged Beale, but when you look at Beale's recruitment compared to now, I'd probably say this is worse, and that's no means sticking up for Michael Beale, by the way. But then the defence is a shambles at this moment in time, I feel. Suter's contract's running right out. I don't know if he'll get a renewed contract, Suter. I think he might, just because he's Scottish, but there's not been any mentions of Suter getting a deal. Tav as well, but I don't really know. But the midfield to me is not a lot better at times. Rask, I'm a big fan of Nico Rask. I know a lot of people aren't, but I think he can do more. But I think he's probably the best of a bad bunch at the moment we've got. Asgar's not done a lot for me. He's flirted to deceive a lot of the time. Diamandi's missing most of the time. He's an invisible man. Cameron's not been given a chance. I don't know if he's been bombed out, if the real manager doesn't fancy him. Barron does what he does. He's like an Energizer bunny, but he does what he does. And middle of the park and Barami, he's that far out the door, he's probably going to leave in January. So I don't really know. Middle of the park, we need another 1 or 2 in there, I feel.
More than 1 or 2, mate, because the rumours are, and there's strong rumours, is that Raskin will be getting moved on in January for big money, and we'll be using that money to fund the business.
To buy Jigga.
To buy Jigga and pay Shermitty off up front, you know, get the clubby book up for 25 weeks at £2.50 a week, mate. No, the midfield, to be fair to Rollo, I mean, I think that he's starting to, I think he likes Diamande and Raskin together. I think he's taking comfort in the two of them, that's his best two in the middle of the park, and Barron is an option in there with his energy that he gives the team. And obviously, all these new age referees are stat shaggers, so he probably looks at Barron's heat map and his stats at the end of the game, and he's going to absolutely love that. So I think with they three, I mean, I think Raskin will be moved on. I still think we need a number 6, Kerr. I think we're really a strong player that Lundstrom at his best used to be in that team. That Steve Davis and Ryan Jack, especially Ryan Jack, used to be in that team at their best. I really think we're missing that player, and we have been since we let Lundstrom go. And then when you go further forward, the problem is in the number 10 position. We've got 3 of them: Asgard, Cameron, and Bajrami. Bajrami wants away. Asgard has been the biggest disappointment with Miovski by an absolute mile. His performances are absolutely, honestly, I think his GPS works harder when he's braiding his hair than when he's playing in the middle of the park, mate. Honestly, he's absolutely pathetic the way that he's... Even against Dundee, he was the reason that the team completely dropped off. He's strolling about the middle of the park thinking he's a rock star because he's mates with Haaland, when in reality he's doing absolutely nothing. He's one of these players that frustrate the life out of you. And listen, we can give him a bit of slack. He didn't have a pre-season, takes time to settle. I'm taking all that into consideration, Kerr. But you're starting to see it with Mikey Moore, and Mikey Moore's 18-year-old. Asgard's not 18-year-old, and he needs to get his finger out after what he did in the cup final. He's due the supporters, and he's due the club now. We've paid £4 million for him, and all that. We've got a lot of games coming up, Kerr, and he's going to get minutes because it's just the way it is. And he's got to start showing us something. He can't just be going on the park and thinking that just because he turns up and he looks good in the kit, that's him doing enough. We need to see a lot more from him, and that has to start after this international break, because he's not in the Norway team. He's not getting a game for Norway in that anymore, mate, because his performances for Rangers have been... And it frustrates you with a player like that because he's got the build, he's got the physique, he's got the skill, But again, does he have the heart to play for Rangers? That's the million-dollar question. Super Ali summed it up on TNT Sports. We've signed too many little boys. They're little boys. And what Super Ali means by that, it's not like, okay, they're little boys. It's the way that they perform on the park with that jersey when they put the Rangers jersey on. You need men that go out there and think, oh, this is brilliant. I'm going to show the supporters. And we've not got enough of them with the 13th. Mikey Moore has shown that now, so he should be an example to the rest of the new players, mate, and I hope he is. But for the rest of them, they need to see that example from an 18-year-old kid, see the love that he's starting to get from the supporters and go, oh, I want a bit of that, and hopefully that rubs off on the rest of the players.
I still think Asgard will come good just because I've seen quite a lot of him. I think there's a player in there. I do think for the size of him, he lacks physicality. For somebody that he's built, he's quite a big boy. He's physically well built, and I think he should be a lot stronger than he is. But I think him personally, he's taking a lot longer to figure out Scottish football. I know that's not an excuse, but I think he has. Some players do. I still think there's a player there. Does he deserve the player of the week? No, he deserves to maybe sit out for a while just to see what it's like from the bench and get a bit of hunger back. Mikey Moore's, I think the problem Mikey Moore is, the difference Mikey Moore is that he's now playing with a manager that trusts him. He's playing with a manager who's give him freedom and not put him into a box and say, you play in this area and you do this. We'll just say to him, you create, you go left, you go right, you just do what you can do. And I think he's enjoying that freedom because you can see it in his plays, putting his head up, he's smiling, he's getting involved. Whereas before he wasn't. He was getting involved to a point and then pulling back. So I think getting a bit of freedom, it's let him loose and it's showing what he's got. Yeah, he's still a bit raw, Mikey Moore. He's only a young kid, but you can see the ability and the talent he's got, and he's showing it more and more, which we like to see. He's willing to run at players, even if he doesn't beat them all the time. He's still willing to run at players. So he's the type of guy that gets you off your seat, isn't he? He gets on the ball. You're like, right, you think he's going to go and do something. Cameron, I've still got hopes for Lyle Cameron. I think Lyle Cameron is a decent player and I think he can get better, but I don't know if the manager likes him. I think if he did, he'd be playing more games. Connor Barron's just your run-of-the-mill midfielder who'll do a job what you want him to do. I think if the game goes up a level, I think he struggles, but Connor will chase times, will tackle. But like all our midfielders, probably like Raskin, Barron, the distribution's poor at times. I think they can win the ball back, but I think their distribution at times is poor. Raskin sometimes thinks his passing is better than what actually is, but when you watch him play with, and I know it's different playing with Belgium as Rangers, but watch him play with them, he gives it to the players who can pass. At Rangers, he's probably thinking, I'm going to let these players next to me, so I need to do the passing. So you've got to get in your head what you can do, what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. I don't think he knows that at Rangers. I think he just thinks he can do everything and it doesn't work at times. Diamante, to me, Ricky, should be doing a lot more. He's been here long enough now to know the game. I think physicality still lets him down. I still think he's blown out his backside after 60, 70 minutes. I don't think he puts his authority in games. Yeah, he's got a ton of the hits. He can create, he can see things, he gets involved at times, but not enough for Rangers in the league. I think he has to do a lot more, Theo. I think there's a player there as well. But like I said to yourself, I've said to Gary before, I still feel, see if you put it in France or Spain, he will look so much better because he's got more time. I think in Scotland, he still finds that hard at times. But whereas when he maybe in Europe or against Celtic, he gets a bit more time and he's playing against better players, so he enjoys it more. But I think against Dundee and St Mirren, I think he struggles just with that Russian football physicality, everybody on him. I don't think he likes that. It might just be me, but I think he still struggles something with stuff.
No, it's not just you. A lot of fans expect a lot more for the price tag, and he's no kid anymore.
I don't even need to do with the price tag, Ricky. I think you've seen bits of it.
Yeah. Some fans do expect that, though. I saw people going on about it today, actually. saying that he goes under the radar because he costs like the amount of money he costs for what you're actually shown on the park. But I think Rowe was started. I think he likes Diamande because him and Raskin play well together. And I think if we're going to go forward with 4-4-2 for the matches coming up, I think it is going to be Diamande and Raskin that you're going to see, because Barron will be like the next guy that will come into the team. So I totally agree with you. I agree everything you said about Diamande, but I've still got a little bit of hope that we're going to start seeing it now with Danny Rowe, that he can start getting something. Like I said before, I think he's a manager that does improve players. He can see, okay, this is what you're good at. This is how you're going to fit into my system. He did it at Sheffield Wednesday. And I think with any new manager, there'll be players that, well, with most managers anyway, there'll be players that he'll improve, that will go along for the journey, and then there'll be players that it doesn't suit the way that he wants to play, and they'll fall off. And I think hopefully Diamande falls into that category where we can get a tune out of him, because I totally agree with what you said. Diamande will be the next Egerman, as in he'll go to the Italian league or the French league, and he'll be the best player and like one of the best players in the league, and we'll be watching highlights, and it'll be for the next 6 months that Rangers didn't use him properly and we didn't do this. There's so many players this is happening when it's a bit frustrating. Going on to what you said about young Cameron, I think that once he gets in the team, he's not been in the team at all really since Danny Rowe came in there, but I think it was the same with Russell Martin. He's an easy player to leave out. But I think once he does get in the team, and you start to see that energy, and it's up to him, mate, because listen, to be fair to Rangers, Cameron, since he came in, has been very stop-start. Even in pre-season, he got injured and then he was fit again, and then he was in the team and he was doing all right, and then he got injured again, and then he was out the team, and now he's struggled to get back in. So it's not just Rangers at fault when it comes to Cameron. He's had a lot of niggling injuries. So if he can get over that and get back in the team and like give you that energy as well, because for me, that's one of the jerseys that is up for grab, because I think sometimes Mikey Moore probably plays a second striker as well, depending on what's going on and stuff like that. So there is positions in that team up for grab for some of these players, and it'll be interesting to see. But going on to Moore finally, I think Moore's been really, really good the last sort of month or 3 weeks since Rose came in. He's impacting games, Karen. That's what you would need, that, because I think with Gassama on the left, I think with Mikey Moore, he's a lot more involved in the match. Gassama's a good player, and we need to keep Gassama on the left, but he's not involved that much in the actual game. I would like to see him involved a lot. He's not. I don't think Gassama's the utility player that Rowe thinks he is, or other managers like moving him to right wing back and right wing. That's no Gassama's game. Gassama's a young kid. You've got to keep him on the left and just let him go. He's the opposite of Moore, actually. I think Gassama's a player that needs to stay in one position and go up and down, and Moore's the complete opposite. You need to let him out of the box, take the dog lead off him, and just let him run around, and that's how he'll affect the match. So it'll be interesting to see all these. We're going to have so many games coming up, Kev. December's brutal. So it'll be interesting to see how what he does with these players going forward.
I have to say, Gassama, you say he can be frustrating, but I think Real plays him that way because he done it at Sheffield Wednesday, and he got a tune out of him playing wing back or playing either side. So I think he trusts him because he's known him a lot longer than other players. So I think he trusts him to do a job, Ricky. Whereas he might not know somebody that well, and he thinks, well, I know Gassama can do that job because I've seen him do it before, whereas others he's thinking, right, I'm not seeing enough of him to trust him at that position. So I think that's maybe how he goes to him. That's his go-to man. If he needs a wing back, right, I'll play you there because you've done it for me previously, even though it's in a different league, in a different team, but he's done it. So I think that's managers trust certain players, no matter where they're at. That's how some managers keep signing the same players sometimes, because they trust them, and I think that's why he maybe goes to him. But Gassama's a winger. He's a winger for me, and
yes.
Because they can't have a poor game, but they can come up with an assist or a finish. You think, job done. It's like Ant-Man on the other side. He's not been great since we signed him, but he's a winger. He's going to be inconsistent. But until the boys played around the games I'm not going to criticise him because I want to see him maybe play 5, 6, 7 games in a row, but he's not had that consistency. He's been out of the team too much and he comes on as a sub, and it's no matter who you are, it's very difficult to come on as a sub, and especially in some games try and make a difference because it takes you a few minutes to get involved, and by that time the game's passing you by as well. So I think until that man gets a run of games, you can't really judge him enough to say he's a player wanted to buy. I don't even give him that chance, a fair crack at it. I think when he first came in, he looked good in his first game, but after that, I'm not saying it's been downhill, but he's been in and out of the team too much for me. It's not a fair character boy. He's in and out, or he's somebody else is there and he's on a half. I think you have to give him a run of games and say, right, what can you offer us? Because I think he's got a physique. I think he's also got energy and the pace to get him down that flank. And I think he's big enough to go back and tackle if you ask me to do it. It's just, will he do it or can he do it? Do you know that way? I think the manager has to see that I'm doing that first before he can say, right, I can play you there. Because wing back might suit him, because usually wing backs, you can put wingers there if you trust them enough. We've just froze, Ricky.
Sorry, you broke up, Kerr. So you were speaking about Ant-Man.
I was saying maybe like Rolo give him a chance, maybe as wing back or run a game just to see what he can do, because physique wise and mobility wise and also energy wise, and I think he's got an injury in him. I think he can get him down that flank really well.
No, I agree, mate. And I would, as I said before, I'd like to see Moore as a second striker. I think if you try Moore, I don't think any of our strikers are really grabbing that shirt by there's not one of them. Even our next match at home, if you were to say who's going to start that match, I don't think any of them. Shermitt is probably the one that actually can hold the ball up, but his finishing's awful. So it's very difficult to see who you're going to go with. But I think if you go with Moore and give Moore a free role in a 4-4-2, but he's classed as one of your strikers, and then you've got Gassama on the left and Ant-Man on the right, or you can also play, because I don't know how many games he's going to stick with a free. Like, I don't think at home he's going to play 3-5-2 in the next match, mate. I think it's going to be a 3-4-3. I'd be very surprised. I think he'll probably stick with a 4-4-2 because it worked so well in the first half against Dundee. I think maybe when you go back to Tynecastle, he'll go back to the 3-4-3, 3-5-2, whatever you want for that. I think that's when you'll see that formation again, maybe Kilmarnock away. But until you get to that point, I think he'll stick with a 4-4-2. And if he's doing that, then that's perfect for Ant-Man on the right, Gassama on the left, and give Moore a free role as one of the striking positions with a Shermitt or a Miovski or a Danilo. And I think that would work. I think that would work quite well. I agree with you, Kerr. I think Ant-Man deserves a bit more of a chance than he's been given. But also when these guys get a chance, Kerr, it's up to them to grab it with both hands. We're speaking about Cameron. We're speaking about Ashgard. We're speaking about Ant-Man. They need to prove when they get given minutes and they get given an opportunity. They've got to grab the jersey like Mikey Moore is just now. That's what we need to see. They don't need to be perfect. They don't need to be 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. They just need to be. They need to show us something. They need to have an assist. They need to be involved in the match. Show us energy. Show us good tackling. Good Ant-Man working back, working the wing well, helping Tav at right back. That's what we need to see for these players when they get the opportunities in the run up to Christmas.
No, I know that, and obviously with the midfielders, you've got Rothwell there, who's not been involved at all. I think. What was his contract to sign for us? Was it 3 years? 3.5?
Something, yeah, 3. I think. I'm sure 3. Madness, man. But
it is
what
madness.
I will say,
but when you signed him,
I think you'll get rid of players like that, though. You'll get like the good thing you'll say about like these players, like they've been a disaster. But I think Rothwell didn't cost you that much money, and I think he's an easy one to move back to England. I think he probably in January he'll shake hands with Rangers and go, look, it's no worked out. It's no been the move that both of us thought it was going to be, and it's easy to get players like that off the books. So I'm not that worried about Rothwell and stuff like that. I think with some players, you've got to take a punt, Kerr, and on paper they may look like amazing signings, but when it doesn't work out, he's an easy one to get rid of. It's your Asgard at 4 million. They're the sort of players that I worry about. That if you've got a Shermiti at 8 million and you've got to move players like that on, that's when it becomes difficult.
I think Rothwell's one who, I mean, I've seen quite a bit of him because I watch a lot of English Championship football, and he always looked decent to me, especially the way he played. And I thought coming up here, it'd have been an easy transition for him. The way we play, the way Leeds played, Southampton played, I thought he'd have done really well with us because he can pass the ball, he can move the ball. And for whatever reason, he struggled badly. And I didn't think he would. I thought he'd have fitted into us more than some of the others we've signed, just because he's a technical, well, he's technically a good football player. Obviously, he's not the quickest, and he does run like he's towing a caravan, but just the way he plays, I thought he could have sat and spread the ball about, but it's just not worked out. Ricky has it for him, and it's a shame because because he has a good footballer, good with the ball at his feet, he can pick a pass, good at set pieces, something we are kind of talking about we want. You got a guy there who could probably fall in and do that, but he's struggling badly, and I can't work out why, because I thought he'd have just fitted in quite well, and not saying every game, but he'd have fitted in and helped us out when we needed him and stuff like that. But he's been when he's been playing, he looks so far out his depth, and it's like, who is this guy?
It's a heavy shot, Karen. It's a heavy shot. You may be playing in the Premier League or you're playing in the Championship and you're shining and you look good and you're getting about the park. But to be fair to Rothwell, though, we've played him out of position a lot, though, Karen. We're not. I mean, always ex-teammates and people that have played with him before are like, you're saying, why is Rangers playing him in the number 6? He's never been. Yeah. He's never been a number 6 his whole career, and he's in his 30s now. He's in his mid-30s, and it's like, I think some players think that, some fans think it's just easy, or some people think it's just easy to sign for Rangers and just slot into the midfield, and you're just going to stroll it because you stroll it in the Championship. How many players have we seen, Kerr, that come up here? I mean, Joey Barton is a better player and probably had a better career than Joe Rothwell, and you've seen how much he struggled when he came up to Scottish football. So on paper it looks like, okay, St Mirren, I'm playing against St Mirren, I'm playing against Kilmarnock, I'm playing against these teams at Falkirk, it's going to be easy, I'm going to absolutely stroll it. But when you get out in the park and it's these teams' cup final and they're completely up for it, and the fans are up for it, and you're getting booed and they're shouting every single tackle, it can be a unique experience. And I'm not surprised. I think Rothwell's really struggled, Askar's really struggled, a few players have really struggled with the size of the club, and you would hope that would settle down, because we'll have some player, not Rothwell, but some players like Asgard and that, you've got to take into consideration they didn't have a pre-season. And they've only been at the club like 3 or 4 months. So you hope that they start to settle down like you're seeing with Moore. And at least some of these players show us a bit more. But we need to see it. I don't think Rothwell's going to be one of them. I would be very surprised if Rothwell was still here coming out of the January window, to be honest with you, Kerr. I think he's the sort of player that teams in the Championship that are fighting at the top end, your Middlesbroughs, even Coventry, they'll be looking at a player like that, and like his agent will be on the phone to them, and they'll be like, "Oh, he's available for like just pay his wages, and Rangers will give you him for free, or maybe $500,000 or something like that." They'd be like, "Oh," because you know how much money they get for getting promoted. So I think he'll be a player that's easy to move on, and I think he's one that we should look to move on in January and just shake hands and say, "Look, it's not worked out."
Before we go on to the forward line, what about Barami? Do you think he'll be away?
100%, yeah. I think his manager from the national team was speaking about him yesterday, and he's actually said that he's very, very unhappy with the minutes and opportunities he's had with the new managers, and that he's looking for a move, and he's looking for a move away in January. So I was surprised he stayed around after the summer, and I thought that was maybe because he showed something in pre-season, but he's not been given any opportunity, and he should be given an opportunity, because Asgard's been hopeless, and Bajrami can play in a few positions, but I mean, he got an opportunity in the cup and scored an absolute screamer, and then we never seen him again. But it's always very difficult, Kerr, when Rangers sign so many players for your position, and you need to try and get back into the team and knock them out the way. It's very, very difficult when you're like the guy that's been there for like seasons and you're not a big star. So it's. I think he'll probably move on in January, or move on in the summer as well, if we can't move him on in January.
That's strange because he was signed obviously under Clement and he's been 2 managers since. He's still not been given a chance, but he has looked good at times. He has looked good when he's been given certain jobs to do, like man marking jobs and stuff. And you think maybe if he was given a more consistent only team, you would see more from him. But probably another one of his guys is going to just disappear either January, you see, or summer. So we're going to our 3 forwards, Shamiti, Danilo, and Miovski, and it's not good reading Nicky goals-wise, really. I mean, Danilo's probably the one that's looking he can maybe score, but the other two are struggling. To be honest with you, the team are kind of struggling. And you consider what we had up top. Your favourite, Mr. Dessers, and I know he got a lot of stick, but he never really put his head down, and he always used to score, even if he was playing bad. He'd pop up with a goal, and then you've got a man who we didn't see the best of him. We only seen it was a rough diamond at Rangers, but we've seen how good he is. But he wanted away, to be fair. But we've paid a lot of money for. Danilo was 6. I know it was a few years ago. Miovski, I don't know how much he was, 2.5 or something. And Shamiti was like 10 or 8, whatever you want to say, 8 up front or whatever, add-ons. But none of the 3 of them look like they're going to solve a problem for us scoring goals.
You couldn't make a striker with all 3 of them, man. You could put all 3 of them together and he'd still be shite. That's how bad they are, mate. No, it's been really, really, really disappointing. Really care. I mean, you look at them on paper, and I thought Miovski, he scored 20 odd goals at Aberdeen, which is it looks like that was a 1-season wonder, to be honest with you. It looks like that was a freak season for the actual talent he's got as a striker, because for us he's been, I mean, we're still trying to defend him. Me and you probably still defending him, going, oh, there is a player in there. That's the favourite Rangers saying, is it? There is a player in there. There is a player in there. But let's speak about Miovski first as the experienced striker that we signed to score the goals. His goal return's pathetic. His performances are pathetic. He's got the first touch like an army tank. Honestly, I've never ever seen a striker with such a bad first touch in all my life, Kerr. He actually had one against Dundee.
Who's that, Miovski?
Oh, Miovski. He had one against Dundee where he tried to control it and he almost put Dundee through on goal. It was incredible. He's so bad. His first touch is so bad. So he's been very disappointing, and that's been a big problem for. It's a big problem for Rowe, and it was a big problem for Martin, because you've took 60 odd goals out of the team. And it's not just the strikers, it's Czerny as well. Czerny was sensational, especially in Europe from the left. He was sensational, absolutely unbelievable, the performances he was putting in Europe. And you've taken that out of the team and you've replaced that with an 18-year-old kid that's just starting to show what he can do. You've got strikers that are just no scoring goals. I think the 3 of them McGiver as well. Joking aside, even their goal tally, they probably won't score as much as Dessers did. So that's no good enough, Kerr. And Shermitty, oh my God, he just looks like a kid that he's just in the wrong movie, mate. For me, I see people putting, last time I said this, you need to send him on loan. He reminds me of Sadiq so much. I actually think there is potential in the kid. I'm not completely writing him off, but I don't think he should be staying around at Rangers. I think he needs to go to a lower level, a Braga, a team like that in Portugal, and polish everything up, be playing minutes out all the time, really get used to playing as a good striker, and then come back to Rangers in 18 months. Like Big Dunk as well. He reminds you like a crap version of Big Dunk. Like when he came in, he struggled as the Rangers striker. He was trying to get in the team with Hoist and Haitley. But So we will see. And Danilo's okay, mate, but Danilo's not going to get you 20, 25 goals. So all three of them, we need much better. I think that's worse. We've got a worse situation up front than we do in defence. For me, in both situations are really bad. But if you gave me one choice, we need to find a striker in January that's going to score us goals, Kerr. And how we do that with Farewell Analytics, I will never know.
To be honest with you, Ricky, I think Danilo is Danilo, right? He's very inconsistent. He'll get you a goal. He is a decent finisher, but I don't think he's got a lot of other stuff to his game, just what I've seen. Miovski, I've still got hopes for, because he is a striker, but I don't think he doesn't really play with his back to goal. Aberdeen doesn't even play that way. He likes to, like somebody mentioned, he likes the ball in front of me, he does, and he likes to be in the penalty box, but he's very low in confidence. I mean, low in confidence, nothing goes for you. So I still think as a player, Miovski, I could be wrong. Let's think about it in January or the summer, but I still think he'll get you goals. Sharmati, it's not his fault, but like I said at the very start, it was a very big gamble for us to take with that money. And I can see the player trading model. They want to go buy young, improve, and then sell on. But I don't think he was bought because of the potential. I don't think he was bought because they spotted him. I think he was bought because Thelwell already knew him. And Thelwell wanted to prove a point. He's bought him for £15 million already. Let's just spend another £10 million on him. He has looked okay, hold up play at times and feeding it off to others. He's struggling badly in front of goal. I think he lacks composure. I think he lacks any aggression for a big guy, but I think he's still growing and improving. And I'll sit here, unless he proves me wrong, I still think that was probably a worst signing. I think for the money and for everything, the whole package, it's a signing Rangers as a football club should never have made. It was far too much an outlay. No matter if it was the Yankees buying us for the 49ers, however you want to call it, buying us, that was too big an outlay for us to make for Scottish football. Because if you're bringing something at that price, you have to improve your team relatively quickly. Even if it's a younger guy, they still have to improve your team to a point where you're thinking, like, we can improve him and sell him on for like Igaman done. We only put him maybe half a season or whatever, but he improved that much. Teams are looking at him. I think if you play Sharmati the full season, and teams are only going to come in and say, we'll give you 20, 30 million for him. Teams come in and say, we'll take him back on loan. And I don't know, he might prove us all wrong. He might turn out to be a world beater, but I just feel, you said earlier, wrong move. I think it was a wrong option for us. There was other guys out there. We could be in for experienced striker at first. I looked around the board. There was other positions in the pitch. We needed more, especially defence. When you bring in loan players, that tells you everything. Midfield as well. We needed a Saxford in the buy. But you put outlay on a striker who's not really getting any experience to come in and try and get you to win cups and win leagues. It's a lot of pressure on the kid. And has Will been told he has to play him because of what he cost, or I don't know if that pressure on the manager. You have to include him because he costs us this much, and it has to be seen. We bought this guy for £8-10 million. We can't believe him on the bench. You mentioned loan him out. I don't think they're loan him out. I think they're going and go with him. But to me, it's the wrong purchase for the kickoff. We should never have bought him. And this is on the recruitment. This is on Thelwell. And I don't know if you heard Graham Souness today. He said he wouldn't trust Thelwell with money. I wouldn't trust Thelwell with money. I don't think him, Purdy, his son, or anybody at Rangers would know a good footballer if they come up and slap him in the face. I think they're going for people they know from the leagues they've worked in. And it's fine. You're going to get some decent players down south. But it doesn't work for us. We've tried it in the past and some have done okay. Especially when Souness started as manager with buying England internationals. We can't do that anymore. So we're buying guys who will have to improve or guys on loan. I think we have to start looking further afield, Ricky, in countries where you think there's not really any players here, but there is players here. You look at some of the players Hearts are brought in. I'm only using that as an example. I'm not saying these type of guys, just saying these type of guys, second division in places, and Italy's second division, Germany's second division, because there's guys here who are out to prove a point they can make it at a higher level and use this as a stepping stone to get to a bigger league. That's what you want, guys to come in and say, I'm here for a couple of seasons or whatever, I'll make his money, but I want to use it as a stepping stone to England, to Germany, France, wherever. And I'll take that as long as they come in and play well and get winning stuff. But when we're signing guys who are coming up here and thinking this is easy and not doing much, we're signing a young kid with Portugal who barely kicked his arse at Everton, and we're putting a lot of pressure on him, and he's struggling badly.
Yeah, if you take our whole business as an overview, mate, that we did, I'm giving Felwell 1 out of 10, mate, because I really was expecting him to do his homework about Rangers before he came into the club, and to me, it looks like to me that he was concentrating on Everton to the very last day that he was working for Everton, and people maybe say, "Oh, that's what he should have been doing." But no, to me, it's like he did no due diligence about Scottish football, about Rangers, about what he was coming into. And even worse than that, I think that he's been told by people like Barry Ferguson and other Rangers legends, not just Barry Ferguson, John Brown, even Alex Ferguson. You know, Alex Ferguson's at the training ground quite a lot. And he's got this ego, as these directors of footballs do, that he knows best and I know better. I'm gonna prove to you that I'm this amazing director of football. And he's went down the Mark Warburton route, which was always going to be an absolute disaster. And I'll be honest with you, Kerr, if I'm looking at our business, one out of the 13 players we've brought in up to this point, there's none of them you can say has really been a massive success. Moore on loan is starting to look the part, but overall, since the start of the season, he's maybe a 6 out of 10, and that's probably the best out of the 13. Gassama the same, maybe Mikey Moore, maybe that's a bit harsh, maybe 6, 7 out of 10 for Moore and Gassama, and then the rest of them have been they're all less than 5s, mate, and it's really worrying going into January with the money that we do have to spend. We don't know how much the money is. The only thing is, they've got so many of them doing Coppin's job now. I mean, you've got Felwell's son, you've got Dan Purdy, who I think is head of it all. You've got 2 other scouts that are working with them as well. So they've got the numbers there. They've got the numbers there to be covering all of world football, and they've got to get the mix a lot better than what it is in the dressing room just now, and they need to find more Scottish players as well, mate. So the mix for me is way off just now. I think we've got too many little boys, too many players that are finding their feet, and going forward, the mix has to be a lot better, like we had under Walter Smith. I actually, his video came up on YouTube today, and I just watched like the first 5 minutes of his team that he had when he won 3 in a row. And you see Lee McCulloch, Chris Boyd, Kenny Miller, Davy Weir. These players are there, right in front of you. I mean, it's very difficult to find these type of players nowadays, especially with the money. They're all going to Italy and they're going to different leagues. They want to play in the Premier League, and I get that 100%. But the mix has to be better in the squad, mate, because just now we've got too many players that are trying to find their feet, that don't know what Rangers is all about, and you're never going to win championships if your blend in your dressing room is not right. And in my opinion, Kerr, this is the easiest championship this year to win that you've seen in years and years. Even when we won 55, to me this season, Celtic are the worst they've ever been. Hearts are going to. I know Hearts are not going to do in Aberdeen. I'm not going to say that they're going to completely, the bubble's going to burst, but I would be surprised if we get to January the 1st and Hearts are still top of the league. I'll be very, very surprised. I think Celtic will probably be ahead of Hearts by the 1st of January, and we'll be right on Celtic's tails, hopefully, if we keep this form up. But so January is going to be a big month, mate. But it's very difficult to find players in January. So let's see. But this squad, I don't know, mate, what you think. But I wouldn't give Suter a new deal. By the way, I wouldn't give Tavernier a new deal. I think even if it's a rebuild, we need to take the club in a complete different direction. I think there's too many players, and I know that sounds mental because I just said we need players that know what Rangers are all about. But we need fresh players. I mean, fresh. young blood that know what Rangers is all about, that we can build the club and build the team going forward with, mate?
I think, first of all, Ricky, if we don't finish in the top two, then the rebuild should be the recruitment team. I think Thelwell Jr., Purdy, the scouts that Thelwell's brought in should all be away. I don't think Kavanagh should be sitting saying this is working, because it's not. And I think he has to look at the structure he's made himself, or whoever else has been there, and say this structure's all wrong. They done it. They done it eventually, Martin, but they didn't want to do it to Martin because they were kept digging heels in until they knew it wasn't working. But if they want Danny Röhl to have a chance of succeeding, then they can't have Thelwell and his family buying players. It's not going to work. I'm sorry, it's not going to work. And no matter what Thelwell comes out and says, to me, he's not doing his job properly. He's buying players that don't suit this type of football. He's buying players that don't suit Glasgow Rangers, and somebody mentioned it earlier. I've mentioned it myself to you. I think I mentioned it to you and Gary, but I mentioned it myself to others. I think he's buying players for a management company. He's got either a stake in, or he knows. I think he's buying players for other places where he may have certain deals in place, and it happens in all football. Don't get me wrong, it happens everywhere. Football, there's always deals going on behind the scenes where people make more money and stuff like that. That's how Nutson's been linked to them across the city. But I know every transfer, Bodo Glimt in or out, I know by all accounts he gets a deal. He gets a
mental
percentage of that.
That's mental.
So I don't think he'll be leaving there to go to there, because I don't think he'll get the same deal there. So, but everybody does it in football. It's all about themselves and making money. So I think Kavanagh has to take a good look at the structure of the club and fix that first, or Danny Röhl's not going to get a chance to take us forward, because this squad of players he's got just now aren't good enough. They're going to let him down.
Yeah, my worry is that Danny Röhl is my worry is that we actually see in January the fears that Gerrard. I mean, listen, the stuff's came out this week, by the way. This nonsense about Gerrard. Gerrard was never coming back. I found out this week he's got to spend 3 years out of the UK. 3 years he's got to spend out of the UK, or he's got to pay a ridiculous amount of money, and it's something ridiculous that Rangers was never going to give him, right? Muscat, though, he didn't take the job because there was concerns there about recruitment. You could see that with both guys. That was definitely there. I'm not saying that didn't exist. So what we don't want to happen as a club is we go to Tynecastle and lose going into January, and then you can tell right away that Röhl is not signing these players, that they're not, because you're going to tell right away. You're going to see the type of player that's coming in, and if it's not the players that Röhl want, and it's players that you can tell that are just being handed to him by Thelwell and Thelwell Jr., the fans are going to see through that right away, and the club is going to erupt again, and you can 100%. So these guys have got all this pressure under them. There's a lot of pressure on them going into January, and they've got to deliver for Danny Röhl, because I'm super excited by this manager. I'm not that into the Röhl roar. That's another interesting. I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen it at the end of the match, Kerr? Some of the podcasts are giving him a bit of grief about the old Röhl roar. But for me, if he's winning matches,
that's what people for Germany do. All managers, you watch the Bundesliga, they all do it over there, and he done it with Munich and stuff. He even done it with Sheffield Wednesday, so that's his thing.
100%. I agree. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. You're bringing in a manager from Germany. He's winning football matches. He wants to celebrate with the fans. I don't think it's over the top. I think it's okay. I quite liked it. I think the away fans were singing his name for the full match. He went up to the fans, appreciated the fans. He's building a relationship with the fans. So,
he's got a very strong relationship with the fans, Ricky.
Because he went up to them. I think it started in Brann. You've just been pumped 3-0, and he's a young kid, and the balls that he showed. I mean, the suit and everything, I agree. I think he should be wearing a suit, but that's a different podcast in itself. But going up to the fans after you've been beat 3-0, appreciating the money that they've paid, saying, look, I'm sorry, guys, I'm going to get this right. Just give me time. I think that was massive for me. I really loved that he did that. And he's doing things behind the scene the scenes that he doesn't want the cameras to be there when he's doing it. He's going to meet all the people
No, I
that work
seen
at
that. Yeah.
Ibrox, work at the training ground. And for me, that's brilliant. He goes into press conferences, he shakes everyone's hands, he's doing all the right things. But all it care, it doesn't matter who you are as you're the Rangers manager. Everything's amazing when you win. You're the best guy in the world, no matter what you do. If he keeps winning matches, well, fans are going to back him. But I think we're on a winner of a roll, so I hope we can keep this going.
So, Darren, I think I'm willing to meet people around the club no matter what they do. As I'm appreciating everybody's role at the football
Yes.
club, not just in the sporting side, the
And
football
that's what
side,
you
but everywhere.
should do. That's what you should do.
And people respect that back. Then you've got a big morale about the whole club, not just one certain area. And I think that's good to have because that's probably been lost for a while. And under Martin, that was probably well lost because nobody really respected him. I don't think he gave it back either. I could be wrong right enough. But just before I go, Ricky, on the Thirlwell thing, the problem I've got with Thirlwell is see if you appoint your son, no matter how good your son is, you've got full control of everything. And that shouldn't happen because there's other guys out there could done the job his son's doing to the same standard or maybe better. But when he's got a say to say, I'm appointing my son, and he comes out and says it wasn't me, my decision, it was somebody else's, you know straight away it's a lie. And I'll tell you how you know straight away it's a lie because we were talking about a football thing and he butted in very quickly and said, I've never signed a player in my life, which is nonsense as well because when you're head of recruitment like he was at Everton and Rangers, you've got a big say in who you're going to buy. And when you're in that role, you're telling the manager, I like this guy, and the manager might say, are you sure? And he's like, yes, I really like him. And the manager will say, you're right, I'll back your judgment. So you're signing a guy, effectively you're signing that player. So he's told us nothing but lies since he came through the door. He thinks we scouse charm. He can fob us off and tells all different stories and it's going to work. But listen, Everton get booted him out the door for a reason. He didn't leave Everton to come to us. Everton said, I've had enough of you. You're buying all these horrible football players and costing us money. So you go away. Purdy went as well because that's his mate. Bringing in his son, bringing in his other people. Like I said earlier, Ricky Kavanagh's got to look at the structure. And if that doesn't change, nothing changes. Doesn't matter who the manager is because I work under the same structure of this guy buying these players who... The way football is nowadays, Ricky, it's a lot. More money's involved in buying players, right? Football players are dearer now than they've ever been. So we spent 10 million, 8 million on Timothy. It doesn't mean he's good. 10 years ago, it mean he's great.
Yes,
but a lot of average footballers, or even lower than average footballers, are costing mega bucks, especially down in England. And when we're willing to pay that money, something's wrong.
Yes.
Whereas you can go to countries all around the world. There's a lot of football teams play all around the world. Go and look elsewhere. Don't just constantly look in one area. But I've done a Ricky rant there. That's my rant for tonight. So, Ricky, we're not going to be back on Monday because there's no game at the weekend.
Yes.
We're going to be back next Friday. So, anything else you want to finish with tonight? Because I've just stole your limelight there with my rant about Thirlwell.
No, good. Friday's perfect, mate. No, that's it. I think that's it covered. I've got work to do in the morning, mate, so we better get off. You've been on an hour and 15 minutes. We're in overtime here. Mate. No, Friday, get big Gary will be back to hit the buttons, man. You've got a weird setup on YouTube, so we'll be back to normal with
I'll have to get that laptop. My laptop's goosed in this laptop. I don't know how to work it.
Just use your iPhone. Use your iPhone.
I've not got an iPhone. I don't like iPhones.
I thought you had an iPhone. Gary said you were on your iPhone last week.
No, I've got a Google Pixel. I don't like iPhones. I don't like Apple products.
Use that for pausing, man. Get your wee setup with your red light.
It's fine if you and Gary are doing it, but if I'm doing it with you, I can't log in it. I have to do it on the laptop.
That's right. And also, you need to do the.
So, anybody, thanks for watching and listening to me and Ricky talk nonsense for the last hour and 13 minutes. So, we'll catch you all a week today. Like I said, thank you for watching and take care, everyone.